our conversation with the president and the chief of staff, actually, I got the president dreaming again. The president's a dreamer. He's a builder. Allow them to work with the people, to come up with new ideas for housing, that they embrace, that they engage in, that they're part of. Listen to the people. They're not wrong. If you haven't gathered it, folks, I'm one hell of a fighter. There's nothing we can't do together. And that's exactly how we do our job. Talk to your county supervisors, talk to your city councils, talk to your business groups. We come beginning of every year. What can we do to help that has federal nexus? And we do it good. From grants to airports, to funding for medical opportunities, to transportation and roads. I must say, it is a great day in Yavapai County to see smiling faces, blue sky, hopefully some more rain, and the group of people that is starting the comeback of America. God bless you. God bless the United States, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.
Mine's going to be not less of about me, it's more about what's going on, because everything crazy with COVID and the elections and everything else. So I will say God has blessed me this year to not have a primary and really not a general. There is a last minute write-in that you will see on the Secretary website. It is a Gilbert somebody, but she's actually on the Fort McDowell reservation, which isn't even in our district. So just another thing of why our SOS, Secretary of State, is messed up, because they basically say it's not their responsibility to verify that that person actually even lives in the district. And I'm not even talking about somebody's disputing which house they are claiming as their deal. I'm talking about this person listed that address, and it's in District 23, and the SOS. And I said, well, how are the voters supposed to know that? When they're voting, how are they supposed to know that they're throwing their vote away because you have allowed a candidate that doesn't even qualify, and it was an obvious error? You know what they said? Not my problem. Keeping our taxes in a reasonable amount so our senior citizens can actually afford to stay in their houses. Keeping the sales tax to a minimum as much as we can. Preserving all of the things while we can have growth, we can have balanced growth. We can have a good, strong economy. Why is Arizona getting through this COVID financial crisis better than any other state? It's because of Arizona's tax policies. It's because we have attracted good businesses here that are making money, creating jobs. That is what's keeping our economy going. Many of the other states are literally facing bankruptcy right now because of the liberal spending that has gone on in those states. Part of that liberal spending has been the unionization of those states. And I'm here to tell you that the Democrats are not only pumping tens of millions of dollars into our state to take us over, but the unions are pumping tens of millions of dollars. They want to get rid of our right to work status. I'm hoping that we can have another one of these before the general, because there's 4 ballot initiatives that are going to be on the November ballot, and there are huge implications. They have these nice little shiny titles that say, oh, do this. Wait till you read the language. I spent Thursday, I was there 9 hours debating with Leg Council and everybody else the ballot language, trying to get in as much information that we could that would withstand any challenges. But for example, like the reduced sentencing one that they're talking about, did you know that child sexual predators would get a 1-for-1 of their service sentence? Vehicular manslaughter, somebody drives and runs over a little kid, let's say they got 5 years for it, they would only have to do 2.5 years for it. So we'll get into that later, because now we're concentrating on the primary, but remember, please, please, please remember, before we get to that, do your homework. We can have these conversations and walk through it so you can share that with your neighbors. So when we talk about the big picture, this is in the election time. This is where I need your help. This is where we all need your help. If we lose the state in the Senate or the House, those tax policies, our right to work status, our pro-life status, all those things that we have fought so hard for to make Arizona great will be turned on its head very, very, very quickly. Now, we are very blessed in LD1 because, as I told you, in Yavapai County, we are a very, very strong Republican district, and we have the highest turnout in the state of Arizona. In case you don't know, LD1, our legislative district, we are the reddest district, LD district in the entire state. We have a 52% Republican registration here, so versus all of it. So that's why I'm not quite so worried about the phony general person, because she doesn't qualify to begin with. But we know that you guys are all great. But here's where I'm asking you to help on this election side of it. It's because we are very, very blessed and we're very lucky here. I need each and every one of you to make sure, because this is going to come down to voter turnout. Everybody is going to tell you that. Everybody's going to tell you that. Voter turnout, voter turnout, voter turnout. And that's why I need your help. I'm going to need you to help spread the word to your friends. You tell 10 people, have them tell 10 people. Have them tell 10 people. Get the vote out. Your vote is so important this year, more than you know. We have other districts that we are barely holding on to. Over in District 6, which is the Verde Valley, that used to be part of our district before redistricting. They are going through a bloody battle over there because they've got a single shot candidate, Democrat candidate, that is running to try and take one of our seats over there, and that is Coral Evans, who is the mayor of Flagstaff, the one that pushed raising minimum wages, the one that pushed to $15 an hour, that was running businesses in Flagstaff out of business, and extra benefits. She and the Democrat, my apologies, I know I have one or two Democrats out here in the audience, so I'm not meaning to bash you because I love you, but this is politics, so I gotta tell the truth. The reality is that between Coral Evans and Flagstaff and Regina in Tucson and Kate Gallego, do you know that they were actually trying to push part of this Green New Deal where they were going to stop natural gas in Arizona? It was going to start in Tucson, that they were literally trying to get rid of natural gas here. That is part of that Green New Deal. So I'm going to tell you, when it comes to local races, Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, and I am telling you from a past mayor of Chino Valley and a past vice mayor of Prescott, even though they're nonpartisan races, make sure you check out who's running, because they are partisan now. They are absolutely partisan, because now on local levels, and I love my governments, my local governments closest to the people, and people count that are in your backyard. But the politics that's starting to get involved with this is literally each municipality is trying to start their own minimum wages, Green New Deals, everything, new taxes, everything else, and we have to keep fighting that and putting that down. So for those of you doing local races, make sure you find out where their values lies, because this is no longer about planning and zoning or anything else like that. So we are going to keep harping on this, that we have got to get the vote out. We have got to win. We've got to win in November, because if we don't, the results are going to be not good at all. Now, very quickly, I don't want to run out of time, but very quickly, I do want to just tell you the big deal about COVID. Just so you know, we are, normally I would have been out, but I go to Phoenix every week. I have not stopped. I go down Sundays, I spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Thursday, and then come back up here for 2 or 3 days. Because every day we are still going through the numbers on COVID, the budget, we are watching the numbers. We have been so blessed that we haven't had to go into special session to slash monies, because we've been really, really lucky about that. But we have to watch those numbers constantly so that we can be there to be adjusted. We are working on a liability bill. The liability bill is to help our businesses, our schools, our governments, everybody else. Yeah, absolutely. That is like one of our top agenda items, because we know that The trial lawyers are coming after all of us because you're going to have employees and business people or customers that are going to go into the business say, oh, I got COVID, or my mother got COVID and she died, and I think she got it here in your business. And then you've got to try and prove that she didn't get it. Well, we don't want that to happen. So we're going to work very, very hard to get this. We know that Trump is working on one on a national level as well. So between us, we will get that done so we can protect our businesses, because that's going to be huge in the future for our economy. I will tell you that the Democrat members of our caucus are pushing back on that because they want to put in all kinds of things for protections for the employees. Now, I'm not saying employees shouldn't be protected, but guess what? OSHA already protects the employees. There are already things in there to protect them, but they want to go over and beyond that because they're looking, again, back to the union. They're looking as this is an opportunity to start putting more union demands in the workplace. So those are the things that we are having to push back on. So we are working on the budget. We're working on liability. When it is safe and we are able to come back into special session, we will do that. I am doing stakeholder meetings. We had a really great one this last week so that we can engage our legislators and part of these stakeholders and the business owners. So the one we did this last week had to do with landlords. If you know, the governor, he extended the eviction notice till October. Well, that's really great and fine when you're working with people and you want to make sure they're not thrown on the streets, but you got to look at the other side. What about the people that own these houses? What about these people that own these businesses? Are they supposed to let them go into foreclosure? And that side of the equation wasn't being heard. So we pulled our own stakeholder together. The ones we're working on for the next couple of weeks is our bars, our restaurants, some of the others. We've got some real issues. We're trying to come up with innovative ways to keep our businesses open while we can still be safe doing it. So I just wanted to know we are all working there, and thank you all for coming out, and a big thanks to Sanford and Terry and KPDB and everybody for offering this to us. You guys are awesome. So with that, thanks, and I'll be around, so if anybody has other questions, ask me later, okay?
Awesome. Thank you for everybody in Sanford and Terry for hosting this event, for everybody coming out to be here. I have to tell you that this has been a journey for me. I started over 2 years ago when I decided to seek Supervisor Simmons' seat, and I wanted to get out and meet the public, meet my constituents, and find out what their lives were like, what was going on out in the district. And so, like I said, it's been an incredible journey. I've gotten to know my constituents, my district. So I want to talk a little bit about District 1, because not a lot of people know where even my district goes. And it starts, I do have a big portion of Prescott, but it does go into Baghdad. And Baghdad, a lot of people don't know the mine up there. That is a huge part of Arizona's economy, our local economy. It is Yavapai County's largest economic engine, and they are huge community contributors. They get hundreds of requests every year to help local organizations here in Yavapai County and Prescott, and they contribute. So they are also a big player on SIMPO and contribute to that. So we're lucky to have them, and as I said, the mine, it might be out of sight, but it shouldn't be out of mind. And then we go down into Kirkland Skull Valley, which is our ranching, getting down into our ranching community, where we have one of the most desired wedding destinations, not only in our county, but in our state, and that's the Van Dixon Ranch. And they host weddings and events they come from all over the state to utilize that facility, and it's a beautiful facility. It promotes the economy here in Yavapai County. And then we travel further down into Yarnell, and of course we know Yarnell is where we have our Granite Mountain Memorial Hotshot Park. It is also where we have the new memorial park inside Yarnell, and it's a very artsy community also. They have a lot of artists there that like to show their artwork and have shops and restaurants. But the main attraction these days is the Granite Mountain Hotshot Memorial. And they come from all over the world. I've been down there several times, and I've spent a lot of time at the state park there and visited with the state park rangers, and people that come up to want to see and learn about our precious 19 firefighters that we lost. and learn their story. And yes, some of them hiked down to the actual place where they perished. But I was there one time. I think it's also moving, because you go there and you see tears. You see tears constantly. And there was a group from France that came up, and they came to Arizona as our tourists, as we promote tourism throughout our great state and our county. And they were on their way to the Grand Canyon, and they saw something about the Granite Mountain Hot Memorial, and they decided to detour and come to the memorial. And none of them spoke English, but their tour guide. And he was standing there talking to them, describing our 19 firefighters, telling their story to them, and they were all weeping. Everybody there was weeping, because it is very emotional. It is something that, it's unfortunate that happened, but it has brought realization to our firefighters and what happens here in Arizona and the southwestern states, that we are a high fire danger region. And it has brought attention to what our firefighters do and the dangers that they face every time they go out. So, and with that said, there is a new memorial park inside Yarnell that's being built right now. And so if anybody wants to go down there and contribute, they are taking donations. It does have the pictures of all the 19. You can buy a brick and have your name put on the brick. And it supports people that come into Yarnell that can have come from the Granite Mountain State Park, come into Yarnell. There's another memorial. And then it encourages you to eat at the restaurants, to shop, and promote the economy down in Yarnell, because they're suffering too. They're like all of us, they're suffering. So then we go down into Congress, and Congress has one of the best restaurants to eat at. A lot of people don't know this, Nichols West. And it is a great place to eat. And if you ever on a Sunday or Saturday and you want to just take a drive and go down and go to a nice restaurant and have a good meal, Nichols West in Congress is where you want to go. And you can visit with the locals there. The fire station is close by. You can see a lot of the firemen coming in and enjoying lunch or dinner there. So it's a great place. And then I go on into Wickenburg. I get a section of Wickenburg. And Wickenburg is known as the roping capital of the world. And they continue to promote our Western lifestyle. Not that the other areas don't, because we have a lot of great ranches, the Mon Ranch, the Hayes Ranch, all down in that area. But Wickenburg has become a destination. I see, when I'm down there at the ropings, I see license plates from Canada. I see from Texas, California, Idaho. They come from all over because of the weather, the great opportunity, and Wickenburg is an awesome place. If you've never been there, you need to go and shop and promote their economy and support our Western lifestyle that's very prominent down there in Wickenburg. And then the last little section area I get of my district is Castle Hot Springs. And not very many people know this, but Castle Hot Springs is the diamond in the desert. And if you have never been there, it was bought by a new couple after the fire that destroyed it, and they have totally refurbished it. And it is a high-end destination place for people from all over the world. To get to it, you fly into Scottsdale Airport, and then he brings a helicopter and brings you in to Castle Hot Springs, because the road is a dirt road, and the owners there like to promote the idea of flying into Scottsdale, and then he helicopters you into his resort. It's a beautiful place. It has a restaurant there with 5-star restaurant, awesome place. So that is part of my district. It goes way down into almost Peoria. So I've gotten to know the people and the area. I found out one thing, that in all of my constituents, they have the same concerns that you and I have. They want to be able to live in a clean, safe community. They want to be able to work hard, do their business, raise their family, have good schools, and enjoy their lifestyle that Yavapai County has to offer. So it's been, like I said, an amazing journey for me. The one thing I do want to touch on now, it seems like lately we've gone to one issue on the election for Yavapai County Board of Supervisors. We were mostly talking about water, growth, economic development, which is all important, don't get me wrong. It's all very important. And we're in a situation now with the COVID-19 that's set us back, and we're trying to deal with all the ramifications of that. But now we have our Criminals Justice Center. And I'd like to just remind everybody that the main thing that the Yavapai County Board of Supervisors is responsible for is public safety. That is what we are required to do. And I want to add officer safety into that, because our officers are employees of the county, and they're out there protecting us. So when this Criminal Justice Center started to, I guess, catch fire, originally, this has been planned for years. Like I said, I have been to board meetings and through 2 budget sessions for over 2 years. And the Board of Supervisors has been talking about this since I've been attending the meetings. They've been planning for it, they've been talking about how they're gonna pay for it, and how they wanna proceed with the facility. One thing that people needed to understand also is, not only does the city of Prescott have a general plan, but the Board of Supervisors has a general plan. And it was with the forethought of previous Board of Supervisors that they realized, with the growth of Prescott and Yavapai County, that they needed to provide areas and facilities for that growth. And one way they did that was for the Criminal Justice Center, to plan for the growth of Yavapai County. So the area was picked many years ago. It was traded with property from the city. It is in an area that's an industrial area. I think everybody knows where it's going to be going now. It was at that time next to the bunker sawmill and the sewer treatment plant. So this area was chosen for that. It was an industrial area. It was out, and that was the reason it was chosen for that. They tried to find many areas prior to that, and it was always people were not in my backyard. We don't want it here. We don't want it here. So they went with this area for the future of Prescott to provide a jail facility. So I've done my homework. I've looked at the pros and I've looked at the cons. I've talked with the other group. I've gotten their literature. I've gone over it. I've met with them. I've met with Sheriff Masher. I've toured the jail. And believe it or not, a lot of candidates that are running for the Board of Supervisors that are against this have never even been out to the jail in Camp Verde and seen what our jailers and what our law enforcement are dealing with. Not only at the jail, but the transportation issues that they have to deal with, bringing everyone back and forth to their hearings, and all the money, over $2 million a year, plus safety hazard breakdown. The buses have broke down on the highway. There's a lot going on here. So one thing for me, coming from a law enforcement and firefighter family, and I have talked to the law enforcement. I have been out there talking to law enforcement, and they say the same thing. We need this desperately. This needs to be done. The board has planned for it. They've taken all the considerations in, and our sheriff, he is the chief law enforcement officer of our county. He is required by state and federal laws to maintain a jail within those guidelines. And he desperately says we need this. So with that in mind, I support this. I wasn't on the board, I didn't vote for it, but I support it, and I'm hoping that everyone will work with the board to support and move this forward, because if not, it would be disastrous for our county and for our law enforcement. And one thing our law enforcement need to know, is they have their elected officials behind them. They need to know they have their back. So, but thank you. I'm over here. If anybody has any questions, I'm here. Thank you.
How are you, Sheila? I am doing great. Good morning, everybody.
Sheila, 5 minutes because of time.
5 minutes.
5 minutes,
Here it
all
goes.
candidates. Here we
First
go.
of all, I am Sheila Polk. I'm the Yavapai County Attorney. I have been the Yavapai County Attorney for the last 19 years, and I've been a prosecutor here at the Yavapai County Attorney's Office for 27 years. For those of you who are wondering about my wild genes, this is I have a very artistic sister, and this was one of her COVID-19 projects. She hand painted these jeans for me, and I love them. My mission, my primary objective as county attorney has been and will always continue to be keeping you safe. We are the top prosecutor. We prosecute all the felonies that happen in Yavapai County, and I've got a top-notch office, great prosecutors, and our goal always is how to keep you safe. We do that with policies that are tough on crime, that send the right people to prison, and give second chances to those individuals who need services and who need second chances. I have the endorsements of all of our police chiefs for all the police agencies in Yavapai County, for those that are allowed to endorse. I have Senator Karen Fan's endorsement. Thank you, Karen. I have the endorsement of Prescott and Prescott Valley, the mayors, Cal Paguda and Greg Mangarelli. And I appreciate all those endorsements. I just want to say a couple of words about law enforcement in particular, because that endorsement, I have worked with them, as you heard, for the last 27 years. They trust me, we are great partners, and I trust them and I support law enforcement. They're going through a rough time right now, and when you get the chance, you see a police officer on the street, it's a great opportunity just to go up and say thank you to them for everything they're doing to keep us safe. I want to just tell you a short, quick story. This is about an incident that happened in Clarkdale a couple months ago. Clarkdale is part of Yavapai County, but I'm telling you this story because it shows our great relationship that we have with law enforcement, and it also shows you what our officers go through on a daily basis. This started as a 911 call. About 11 o'clock, it was a Thursday morning, and it came from Clarkdale. The Clarkdale piece, that adult son turns on the officer. The officer deploys his taser trying to subdue this man. And at that moment, the police officer hears the cries of a child and becomes aware that there is a young child who is on the couch who has been badly beaten by this man. So now the officer is trying to save the child, take care of this assailant who is still coming at him, and yet do the right thing in terms of the eyes of the community. And this officer at this point is still alone. So again, the officer is trying to subdue the assailant, who now grabs a knife and comes at the police officer and won't let the officer get to this young child. And so the officer deploys his weapon and he shoots, and he does kill the assailant. Then the officer turns his attention to this 4-year-old boy who has been badly beaten. Services come in, they airback the child up to Flagstaff, and sadly that child loses his life. My office is contacted, backup arrives, but one of my prosecutors goes to the scene immediately to be there to help secure search warrants, to make sure everything is done by the book. But that's the kind of partnership we have, is that we are there for our police officers day in and day out. But that story in particular, it's an incredibly sad story. That child's life could not be saved. But it also, that police officer is trying to do everything he can to save lives, including the life of the assailant, until he has to do what is necessary, which is deploy his weapon. On a national level, police officers are under so much scrutiny. Here in Yavapai County, day after day, officers are highly trained always to try to do the right thing. And so I hope when you see an officer on the street, you will say thank you to them. You really don't know what their day has been like, but you do know that we ask so much of them and that they need our support and they need our thanks. And I need your support to be reelected for another term. I ask that you vote for me, and I ask that you help spread the word. I got word just earlier today that about 42% of Republicans in Yavapai County have now cast their vote. So that means that more than half of Republicans who will be voting have not yet cast their vote. So spread the word for all your favorite candidates, and just remind people to get to that August 4th primary and to vote. And please remember to vote for Sheila Polk. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. I can be quick. I have many blessings. I have no opponent, and I thank you. Which is really nice, because presidential year is our busiest year, so that leaves me at the office and out speaking to you, so I can be working and not being out campaigning, getting the work done that you require me to get done. I have all kinds of information, anything to do with dates, poll worker training, our student poll worker program. Any information that you need, I've got at my table over here. Please come over and see me. I have staff at the office too. I can be out here because I have staff. Craig, he knows. Mary knows. We have staff that is unbelievable. They're in there today. They're there tomorrow. They'll be working all weekend to make sure everything is done. We have in well over 30,000 ballots as of now. Again, they're in there working, making sure that by election day, all of those early ballots that are in have been processed and tabulated. So the only thing that we're concerned with that night is everything that comes from our vote centers. Don't forget, vote centers, Yavapai County, first county to have them. Any place that you want to go on election day to vote, any place that you're at, go to any vote center. So if I'm in Baghdad and I need to vote, I can vote there. Any place you see a I voted sign, please come in. And I'm always available. Most of you know me, you know that. Most everybody even has my cell number. Please call me if you have questions. Right now, I'm not a candidate, I am a myth buster. Because there's a lot of myths going on out there about elections, what goes on, how processing works, and they're confused because we have a lot of laws that aren't real common, they're not familiar to our general public. So please, please give me a call or any of my staff. They're very, very educated, they love to talk to people. Now, if I had more time, I could talk all afternoon about elections. Most people aren't as excited about them as I am.
Thank you, everybody, for having me. Thanks to Sanford for offering this space. Everybody for coming. I just wanted on the record, I have seen The Graduate, Steve. I am familiar. So I recognize a lot of faces out here today. I'll try and keep it short because that cloud is looking a little ominous. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Steven Sensmeyer. I'm running for State House and Legislative District 1. We have 2 open seats there. Our incumbents, Representatives Campbell and Pierce, are choosing not to run for re-election. So you get to vote for 2 new people to take those seats. I'm running because we need a new generation of conservative Republican leadership. How many of you guys are familiar with Tom Steyer? Most of you? Most of you? How many of you are familiar with Next Gen America and Next Gen Arizona? That's Tom Steyer's arm here in Arizona. They're going around to college campuses, to high school campuses, here in Arizona, trying to register Democrat voters to take over this state. I've seen them at Prescott High School. I've seen them at Embry-Riddle. They're out here in our communities trying to take the young generation and register them Democrat. If we want a future of the conservative movement, we can't allow that to happen. We need young people to step up like me and show that my generation, the millennial generation, is not as liberal as the media likes to pretend we are. They like to make millennials out as this wave of Democrats of the future. The truth is, more millennials are independents than any other generation before us at the same age. Millennials are reachable. America is not gone with the new demographic waves. We need to make sure that we reach out to young people, to young voters, to millennials, to Gen X, to Gen Z as they come up behind us, because some of them are starting to turn 18 and register to vote. And the way you get through to millennials is jobs. If the economy's not working, you're not going to reach them, because they've seen the struggle of the Obama years, and they know that they want the people that are going to make sure that they can provide for themselves and their families. That's how you get through. That's why my biggest campaign plank is getting out of the way of businesses so businesses can provide jobs, particularly small businesses in rural places like Prescott. I'm a graduate of Prescott High School. I'm a graduate of Embry-Riddle, and I've seen what's happened. Our best and our brightest can't stay here. The ones that want to stay here, there's no economic opportunity for them to stay. There are a few lucky people like me that get the chance to do that, but by and large, it's not what happens. Our community's not sustainable that way. We need employees, we need workers, we need the next generation of business leaders. We're not going to keep this area red if we don't reach out to these young people. Those are things that have to happen. In order to do that, I think we need 3 things. The first is low taxes and pro-business stances at the state level. We do a pretty good job on that already here in Arizona, but I think there's more that can be done and more that needs to be protected. The second part is education. Without good education, we're not going to attract businesses here. I think the best way to have good education is competition. I'm a big fan of school choice. I attended public, private, and charter schools myself. My younger brother was homeschooled, and we were able to attend the education environment that was right for us at that point in our development. And I think that makes all the difference, and giving the parents the choice is what makes all the difference. And the third thing is infrastructure. You're not going to be able to do business if you can't get down the highway. And for those of you that have, I know we all drove here on 69 this morning, 69, 89, 89A, we see what our condition our rural highways are in. That needs to be taken care of, that needs to be a higher priority. But infrastructure doesn't just mean highways, it means water, it means power. And particularly in this day and age, it means internet and telecommunications. There are parts of Arizona that don't have access to high-speed internet. How are you going to operate a business in 2020 without high-speed internet? It ain't going to happen. You can't do it. It's the environment we're in. That's true here in Yavapai County. I've talked to folks out in Paulin that want to start businesses that they can't get high-speed internet. The internet companies will not come to where they need to be. That can't happen. We need to make sure businesses can thrive. Now, to shift gears a little bit, you know, Steve's taking a couple of shots at my age today. That's okay. But I just want to let you know that I may be the young guy, but I'm not inexperienced. I've been involved in local politics here for 12 years. I was president of the College Republicans at Embry-Riddle, president of the state chairman state chairman of the Arizona Federation of College Republicans. I've worked on Congressman Gosar's campaign. I've worked for Senator Martha McSally. I've worked for the Arizona Republican Party. And I think I'm getting hooked from the clouds here. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Hey everybody, I'm Jody Rooney. I'm running for District 2 Supervisor. I'm grateful for our president. Last Thursday we were out on a Trump corner, 69 and 169. Woo! Carrie, you got a great team out there. Yeah. I'm also grateful that y'all came today. And with the rain, we're going to make it. I'm grateful for Supervisor Tom Thurman and the legacy that he has laid down for us. I look to be able to continue to build off of that. I'm grateful for my husband, Casey. And I'm grateful for serving the citizens of not just Prescott Valley, but looking to serve the citizens of the whole county. Casey and I have worked across the county since we have been here in 2006. We look to continue to do that. I am about public safety. We've been hearing a lot about that today. And I also support the Yavapai Justice and Mental Health Coalition. I'm about emergency management. And we have Firewise communities here. That's what I like to talk about. About transportation. Senator Fan, I've learned so much from her. We worked on many transportation projects together, and we know how to do the funding and get it for Yavapai County because we've been innovative here. Also, it's about working with our other elected governments, very important. Please take a look at your ballots. You'll find me approachable. I am Jody Rooney for Yavapai County Supervisor District 2. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's really been an amazing morning, and it's an honor actually to be here with so many incredible builders of Yavapai County. You know, I've lived here 20 years, and I'm here to tell you that we have people among us that are movers and shakers, that have loved this county, that have built it in such a tremendous way. That's why everybody wants to move to Yavapai County, because we are awesome. That's why. And we are Republicans, we are strong, we are conservatives, and you are actually in District 5, which is my district. So I'm excited about that, hosting it in District 5. But you know, a little bit about me. So I came here about 20 years ago, and I came here on a job transfer. So many of you know me in the fact of working through Albertsons, which of course is no longer here. I did cookies for the troops for many years with the staff at Albertsons, with the communities. We sent over 500,000 cookies to troops out of Albertsons, and that was done by a community of Yavapai County. And you know, it was an amazing opportunity. I still hold on to all those letters and the emails and the handwritten letters that I received from those military men and women fighting for our freedoms. And you know, and that's what drives me. What drives me is them. I don't have to know them, but what I do know is today we have freedom to stand here and have a voice and talk about it, because other people are willing to be on the front lines And you know what? That's what I am. I am a frontline fighter. I do not back down. I am not afraid to answer the tough questions, and I'm not afraid to do the tough job either. I do what's right for this community, I do what's right for this state, and I do what's right for this country. Because it is people that left me those rights, and I need to carry that on. I appreciate the past of Yavapai County. I work today in the present for a future that I may not be here to actually live in, but the fact is our job today is to leave a legacy because someone left a wonderful legacy for us. And we're experiencing that right now. You know, I have an amazing husband who is amazing support to me. You see him everywhere, but most places you see him is when we're out there doing the Prescott Valley Healing Field. Now that will move your soul. And if that doesn't move your soul, when I was out promoting that, I said, then you don't have one. It was that simple. It was just that simple. I can't explain it anymore. You walk among 3,000 American flags, 8 feet tall, with the name of every person that was attacked that day. They lost their life. Why? Why? Because there's an evil that lives among us. It's a condition of a heart, and it's not a good heart, and it's not about America. It's not about the America that we've known to come and love. And I get really passionate about it, as you know, but I won't back down because you know what? I'm here to do the best job I can for a country, a state, and a county that has given me rescue after 3.5 years of being tortured in the Baton Death March. I have his journal, and you know, I read that and it inspires me because when they liberated them, he said it was so good to see the stars and stripes. We don't take a knee to our flag. We hold that flag and we are proud of that flag. Are you kidding me? People died in that flag. That is who we are. We are a strong American group here. We are Yavapai County. We are movers and shakers. We are love of country. And that can never change. That can never change. And you know what? When you are silent, that is when things go wrong. Do not be silent. Stand up for what's right. It's important. You have to. It's your job. It's your job as an elected person, official, and a citizen of this country. So I'm here to tell you, as a county supervisor, I have spent 1 year in the county, and it has been one heck of a ride. Never saw all the things coming, but you know what? It has only toughened me up. And you know what? I am here to serve another 4 years. I am not worried about what's in front of me because I know the good Lord's got me in this. And so, good. Thank you. My sons, we have 4 sons, 9 grandchildren, and 2 of our sons served in the Army. One of my sons just got back from a second tour in Afghanistan. So I'm just going to put this out there. I want to make it very clear who I am. I support first responders. I don't back down, and I give them what they need to do the job. That is why we're all standing here safe and sound today. It's because we know there's men and women out there fighting and protecting us from evil people. And it is your job to support them as well. I will not apologize for funding for a criminal justice center that actually should have been done at least 10 years ago. But unfortunately, the information was incorrect. Well, I'm here to tell you, I am here to give direct and clear communication. You can reach out to me. I have the truth. Now, I said that about a week and a half ago, and I had some people yell at me and say, we don't want the truth. And I said, oh, okay. Well, you know what? I can't help those people that don't want the truth. But I'm here to tell you, I will deliver the truth. So if you're interested in knowing the truth, who I am, what I do, what I have done, and what I will do, please reach out to me. My name is Mary Mallory, and I am your county supervisor for District 5. And I fight.